Okay, we'll be quiet.
Alrighty, it's Mike here with All Things Tactical, and I have with me today
Tony.
from Multi-Holsters,
Yes.
Michigan-based company. It's always good to have people in the same state that you live in. It's a local. I like to support local business, and we were talking earlier, you like to support it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we made a couple holsters today, and you'll see some video on that. We made 2 shield holsters. We made I guess your bestseller, your multi.
It's that between the outside the waistband and the inside the waistband, they're about 50-50.
Okay, all right. We have the Kydex belt loops. This holster fits. I don't know how to describe it without being dirty, but it's awesome. And then we have a brand new color from Index Fasteners. I guess we're going to call this blood red carbon fiber.
That works for me.
All right.
I got to look it up. I don't know the exact name, but yeah, that's pretty close to it.
Awesome. We did this on a vacuum form, right?
That's correct,
Vacuum
yes.
form. Definition is outstanding. I'll roll in some close-up pictures of it. Awesome. And then we made a hybrid. And whoever thought about sticking a chunk of Kydex on a chunk of leather, I hope they patented the process or something, because they're losing out if they did. But it's awesome. This is for my shield also. Shield's going to be my summer gun. What made you start doing this? Customer requests?
You mean the shield or the
hybrid itself?
Yeah, you know, I wanted to be kind of like one-stop shopping. I wanted to offer a bunch of stuff. There's a big market for hybrids. They're fairly easy to make, and I've got a lot of people who are asking me for it. So we've kind of evolved it into a couple of different styles. Obviously, we've got the moon style, which has a little bit of
has
different.
a little bit more leather down here, and a little more ergonomic to the hip region.
Yep. But you know, just it's kind of like one of those things that, you know, either you know, if you can't, maybe, you know, beat them, join them. We have a lot of people who are asking me, and I was losing a lot of business in the hybrid market, so you know, we started doing it, and you know, we have quite a few orders for them, quite a few requests for them.
Adaptation to market requests.
Yep.
Awesome. So what made you start Kydex?
Well, you know, I am a real big light and laser fan. I got a PM9 for personal carry probably about maybe 6-7 years ago. A couple years after that, you know, I started looking into crimson trace, being one of the you know, more prominent laser people. I like the way that they have instinctive activation. Everything, you just grab the gun, it kind of turns on and off by itself. So I got one for it, and I got the laser before I got the holster, which is probably putting the cart before the horse kind of thing. So I figured, well, you know, there's got to be something out there for it. I mean, we're going back probably about 4 or 5 years, maybe even a little more than that. And you know, I started looking around. I'm left-handed, so all of a sudden I couldn't find a left-handed holster. There's one company that had it. They were probably about 8 to 10 weeks out. It was one style, one size fits all, one color, no cant, you know, only one, you know, inside the waistband, and really no versatility at all. So I got it because that's the only thing that I could carry with, and I carried it for a couple of months, and it wasn't the most comfortable thing for me. It was leather, and it was kind of bulky. The laser added a little bit of girth to it, so it just wasn't the most comfortable thing. So I started looking at, obviously, as you know, everyone does, they go to a Google search, and all of a sudden I started seeing people doing the Kydex. And you know, I'm pretty crafty, and I had some time on my hands. I don't need one. But I started dabbling around with the Kydex. It was you know, I come from a construction background, so I had a majority of the tools, and I tried it. You know, I was just curious about it, and from there on out, the rest is history.
Do you still have that first holster?
Probably buried somewhere. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. The first one I made out of .125. I didn't know any better. Okay. And it was like working with a chunk of steel. It was very thick, no definition. It was pretty embarrassing. So even if I had it, you wouldn't be seeing it.
But I'm guessing that nobody in this business has that first holster that they're extremely proud of.
But you know what? Nowadays, with all the YouTube videos, with all the technology, everything that we have to offer, the molds and all that kind of thing, there's people that are on the forums that are putting out their first holster, and they're looking pretty darn close to this. It's pretty amazing.
Well, technology is caught up.
Yeah.
And you make the molds now and,
Yep.
and everything. So in essence, instead of just being a Kydex holster maker, you're also supplying that industry.
That's correct.
And with the molds, and these are awesome because now I don't have to send my flashlight to people to make me a holster.
That's correct.
And everybody can, it's not a $400,
Yeah.
this being the X400.
Yep.
It's got the laser on it. It's not a cheap piece of kit.
No, and to put something like that in a press, put several, how many ever tons of pressure with some hot Kydex on it, damaging a switch,
Mhm.
that sucks.
Oh yeah, because the switch right back there. It wouldn't take much to
Yep.
hurt it. But how are the molds? How are they being accepted by the industry?
Oh my God, I'm hoping to outdo the blue gun market here very soon. As far as holster makers go.
Right.
Blue guns never meant to be made for holster making.
No.
We all know that.
They're a training tool.
There's a training tool, and my product is pretty much geared for the holster maker.
Okay. And you also do magazine molds.
Yes.
This one happens to be for a shield.
Yep.
Awesome, and
It's got the bullet molded inside of it.
That's a big thing because
It
I know
is.
a lot of people use an empty magazine, and one, you can damage a magazine.
Yeah. Or a live round.
Or that wouldn't be good. And you don't get the magazine pouch to fit right once you stick a round in it. And what good's the empty magazine do?
That's correct.
Would you wait a minute? I need to put some rounds in my magazine.
Yes.
But awesome. And these have the sight channel all built in.
Yep.
They have the trigger guard all
Yep.
built out,
And the ejection port.
and the ejection port all locked in. So
Yeah.
that's a key place where you get finished. Where if you don't do that,
Yeah, especially in the Kydex, a lot of the leather guys like that for definition. Not for definition, but for retention.
Right.
But in the Kydex world, it's a killer. It'll wear away because the ejection ports are very sharp.
Mhm.
It'll just create a hole in the Kydex and wear it away quicker than you can imagine.
Awesome. How many different weapons do you make molds for?
Right now, we're probably up to around maybe 60,
60.
and we're doing about 3 to 4 a week. Can't keep up with it.
Keeps growing. So you have this one, which is a foam-based resin,
Yes,
and then you have the other one that would be in a green color like this, and this has
that's 25% aluminum.
and you can tell that this light weighs probably twice as much as this gun,
Yeah,
which and you make these in the weapon molds too.
that's
So.
correct. It's what we call the Pro Series.
And that would be for higher usage.
Higher, guys that are continually putting them,
Right.
I don't want to use the word abuse, but they're boom, boom, boom. They're heating up the Kydex, and they're putting in multiple times a day, doing multiple molds.
Right.
This stuff, and we're actually experimenting with the glass material too. Will take higher pressure and higher heat,
All right.
and it's not that much more, material-wise.
Right, and we made that one out of vacuum foam today.
Yes.
So that doesn't abuse stuff nearly as much as putting it in the press.
No, less than a minute to cool down. You can accelerate the cool down process, and it doesn't have that tremendous amount of pressure like you would put in a foam type of a press. Once you get a hot piece of Kydex and that type of thing, and you insulate it with that foam, there's a lot of heat.
It just keeps going.
And yeah, it's just insulating, and that heat doesn't dissipate, not quickly.
No, and like we did, you gave it a shot
Yep.
of air, and that kind of sets it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was formed like that.
Yeah.
And so you're doing that. You're doing your inside the waistbands on it. You
Yep.
did this one. We vacuum formed the Kydex portion of the hybrid.
Yep.
How long have you been using vacuum forming?
Well, we've gotten, let's see, we got it probably about 4 months ago.
4 months ago.
Yeah, and if it went down, I would probably shoot myself.
Actually, you have two of them now.
Yes. You got one as a backup.
Yeah. We wouldn't now. Nobody's going to shoot
Just
themselves.
figurative. Yes.
Right. I mean, it accelerates the pace that you can build holsters at and keep the same quality and definition.
Yeah.
That's
Consistency.
Consistency.
Big key factor in this.
I mean, you can make 5 holsters and all look the same.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I know. I've dabbled in Kydex, and dabbled is a extreme word. It doesn't look well, my dabbling. And I've made 2 or 3 holsters, and They don't, none of them look the same.
Yeah.
But, is there anything we can look forward in the future?
Well, you know, I do have the new inside the waistband clip coming out. It's what I call the foamy clip. Foamy stands for fold over mold injected clip.
Okay.
And we did do 2 improvements to the clip. Now it's being made out of nylon 66, which is going to be quite a bit of a stronger material. We did, the old batch we made was made out of ABS, which is, it works, but we did have some failure. I had enough concern about the clip to do something about it. You know, there wasn't a high amount of failure, but enough for me to do something. So we are making it out of the nylon 66, and we're also pre-drilling the holes.
Okay.
So that's a real big no. You don't have to worry about, you know, spacing of the holes or that kind of thing. Some of the guys were oversizing the holes. That was one of the the factors playing into failure. They were
making that wall thinner.
Yeah, they were making it the holes too big, and then putting, you know, a pretty strong screw on it, and then, you know, they would crack it. So by pre-drilling the holes, it's going to make it, you know, quicker for installation and hopefully cut out the failure rate too. And then I do have a couple of other clips that I've got coming out. I can't really talk about them right now because they're kind of, you know, I'm working on some legality issues with them and whatnot. But you know, hopefully once we get that, it's going to be, I think, another important part of the you know, outside the waistband holster. It's going to make it very, very nice and easy to use, and I can't say too much about it.
Okay. Next evolution in it. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, they will be available to all the holster makers and whatnot. I'm pretty much making these for everybody to have access to them.
Awesome. And these right now are made out of .125?
Yes.
Okay. And they're cut CNC, right?
Yeah.
And you had said you had plans to maybe in the future.
Yeah, I've got a lot of people asking me for that specific clip to make them out of, you know, to mold inject them.
Okay.
And it would be nice to make them out of the nylon 66 and also pre-drill the holes on those as well.
I had a nylon 66.
Oh, yeah?
A little Remington 22 rifle.
Okay.
Yeah, it was made out of plastic.
Yes, how about that?
But now you have a program in place where I know wait times get to be long depending on how the workflow is going and orders, and that's not just your company, that's industry-wide anymore. It seems like we've had an explosion in concealed carry usage, concealed carry learning, wanting to carry, people wanting to carry their gun. I, for one, get up in the morning and when I get dressed, the gun goes on. When I go to bed at night, the gun goes off. It doesn't matter if I'm at home. Of course, you don't carry where you can't carry.
Sure.
But you know, it's a lifestyle. It's not, oh, I'm going to put my gun on today.
Right.
I mean,
that's the time you're going to need it.
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
when you don't have it.
Your gun at home in the safe's not going to help you in the Walmart parking lot. No dig on Walmart. But just what popped in my head first.
Yes.
But you know, and you have a quick ship program for people who are wanting to get into a holster maybe a little bit quicker than a custom piece.
That's correct.
They're all custom.
Yeah, pretty much. The quick ship is for somebody who doesn't want to wait 12, you know, 11, 12 weeks, whatever, for the custom. We do offer 2 colors now. It started just as a black standard Calcutta Kydex, and now we also offer the black Holstein, which is our second biggest seller. So for a couple dollars more, you know, which is this same texture but in black.
Right.
And
it's pretty classy.
Yeah, it's very, very nice, and you know, we're hoping to, as time goes on, we're hoping to expand to different ride heights and different ride cants and that kind of thing. Right now, right now we're trying to do cookie cutter, where it's you know, FBI cant, mid-rise, and that seems to work for a lot of people.
Okay, and those are available for a number of different weapons. Your most popular one, because you can't do quick ship for everything.
Right.
You need a whole nother shop just to do that.
That's correct, yeah. And once I get some more guys up to speed, I may just put a couple guys just on quick ships because we do have that much of a demand. Basically, you know, the Shield XDS, Bodyguard, Glock 26, 27, 1923, LC9. Let's see what else we have. The SIG 938, 920, or 238. You know, that Glock 42, of course, real big one. You know, we're making quick ships for all of those because you know, that's the most commonly asked. And you know, if we can get them out the door quick, you know, it makes everybody happy.
Awesome. I mean, and you're making holsters for Glock 41, which, woohoo, I'm going to be getting one.
Yep.
So I actually got to hold one today, so it's getting closer.
Yes.
But that's gonna be awesome. You have anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's pretty much it. We got, like I said, we got a couple more, new clips coming out hopefully soon. Just working out, hammering out some details on them. But that's pretty much it. I mean, we always welcome feedback from people. A lot of our holster designs have evolved over the years, just from people recommending something to us and whatnot. Hopefully, like I said, we're working on a shoulder rig, working out some bugs with that. We're doing, for whatever reason, we've had a sudden uptick in a lot of drop leg. But the thing is I don't have the apparatus. What I tell people is if you want to send me the apparatus, we'll modify your holster to fit the drop leg. We got a lot of people doing that right now. But I've had, probably in the last couple months, more than usual amount of people ask me for a shoulder rig. So we're working on that.
I mean, we live in an area that I guess you'd call has been plagued with really adverse weather this year.
Yeah,
and everybody's
crazy.
wearing big, thick jackets, so the shoulder rig kind of works into that
Yeah.
for winter period.
Absolutely.
We talked about it a little bit, Kydex versus leather.
Yes.
And some, how important is it for your holster to remain open after you draw your weapon?
It's incredibly important. There's a couple things about Kydex that is great. First of all, it's not going to collapse when you go to reholster the gun. It's going to have retention. Nothing against leather, but leather is really tight when you first get it. Then for about a month, it's perfect, and then for the next 10 years, it just gets floppy and it gets all worn out.
You keep tightening the belt down to try to put that back in.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if you have a light bearing, there's no way you're going to create the channels in leather that you can do so in Kydex. It's just the fact of nature. It's the nature of the beast. It's, in my opinion, all law enforcement's going to be going to Kydex within the next 10 years, and it's the way of the future. I know a lot of leather guys that are not totally getting out of leather, but they're also incorporating a lot of Kydex. It's just what's in demand now.
Right. I know Safariland's been making holsters that have been not hybrid like this, but hybrid where the leather was wrapped around the Kydex shell. I mean, their drop leg stuff's really like that. They got a lot of elite stuff's like that too, I guess, for duty belt.
Yeah, when I went to SHOT Show, there's a lot of stuff, and like I say, almost every supplier out there, just a chosen few that still remain leather, but they all integrate Kydex into their regiment somehow, one way or another.
Right. I think a company I'm trying to think of, remember Fist Holsters?
Yeah.
They started with that two-ply thing, so that was kind of cutting edge back then.
Yeah.
But I've never had a leather holster that's looked as good as and defined as a Kydex holster.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. And you know what it says? When a gun's in a holster, it tells you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You feel it and you hear it.
Yeah, and if you get into a tussle or something and you're on the ground, where the gravity might take the gun out of a leather holster, it's not going to do that with Kydex.
Yeah, we could probably hang me upside down and bounce me around, and I don't think the shield's going to come out of this. In fact, we shook it pretty good back there in the shop.
Yeah.
The nice thing about his molds is, shield has a safety, and if you have the safety in the wrong position when you mold the holster, then you got to remold it.
Yeah.
But it's built in, so it's the channel's made in the on and off position, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were calling me, and we had to do something about it. That they say they carry it in the safe position, even though the safety on the shield is tiny. It's very, very tiny. If the Kydex holster, was in the opposite position of what you carry it in, it'll put it in one way or the other. And typically, we do it. Most of the people I've talked to had it in the off position because it's. Let's face it, it's not a 1911, it's not a big thumb safety. A lot of people very rarely use it, but the ones who did, I definitely heard from. So we definitely took it upon ourselves to make it right inside our mold, to just take that totally out of the equation. And so either way you carry it, it'll accommodate.
So if a person buys her first firearm, gets her concealed carry license, they can come to you for a holster for every season, basically. They can go inside the waistband, they can go outside the waistband, and you said you're making a shoulder rig. If you don't like the single little belt loop inside the waistband, you have a hybrid holster.
Right.
the multis actually, you can convert it back and forth.
That's correct.
So that's cool. I mean, you can kill two birds with one stone. I know you'd rather sell two holsters than one holster, but you know, some people they have to work into this thing. You know,
Right.
I would have never thought before that I would spend. I bet you I have $5,000 in holsters for various guns. Some guns I don't even own anymore.
Sure.
You know, I would have never. I'd said, wow, that's ridiculous. I'm not spending that much money. Or what do you think of when you think of Kydex? If you're not into it's plastic. Why am I going to spend what they want for a plastic holster?
Yeah.
And it's not just have a pizza oven at home and a couple tools. And by all means, you can do that. And it'll probably hold your gun. But all Kydex is not created equal.
No, it's not. You know, there's a, you know, I often say there's a science to holster making. Some people get it, and unfortunately most don't. There's, you know, retention issues. There's, you know, obviously a lot of people equate definition with quality. That's not always the case, but you know, there's definitely a science to making a holster, making it work well, and making it last.
Right.
You know, and you know, doing your research, and a lot of guys who are doing it, you know, join the forums, share your knowledge, learn something along the way. You know, and if you've got something, you know, give back. I mean, it's always good to, if you learn something, you know, share what you learned.
Right. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
Oh boy.
There's probably 10 ways, but
Yeah, no, probably email Tony@multiholsters.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me. That's my personal email.
all right.
And of course, we have the shop here. I've got, you know, office staff who answers the phone, and if it's something that somebody wants to talk to me, they can, you know, get through me through the shop.
They'll get a hold of the man.
Yes,
All
yeah,
right. You're on Facebook.
correct.
Okay. You do YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So any new breaking stuff will be, you know, either one of those two places probably.
Yeah, you know, whenever we come out with new molds or a new holster style or new colors, like, you know, I just, you know, while we were talking a little earlier, I already posted that on Facebook.
Awesome.
So that's already up there. Any new molds, a lot of people want to stay up with what I've got coming out mold-wise. That's the first place I put it, is on Facebook. It's just the easiest and quickest means to you know, to put it out there.
Awesome. And I'll put all the contact info at in the description thing at the bottom of the video, so you have your phone number.
Great.
Do you want your personal email down there?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll do
Yeah.
that, and then and the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. Alrighty. Well, thank you. Thanks for taking time to talk to us and to the viewers. Hopefully, I'll make you even a busier man. That would be great. But yeah,
I could explain that one to my wife, but yes.
yeah, we had a fun day today. I got to watch it. It's, you know, it's not rocket science, but it's not crayons on paper.
That's true.
So, all right, thank you.
Mikey, thank you.